Ever wonder about those women who don't chase, yet are never forgotten? Their absence seems to echo louder than their presence ever did. For a man who thought he controlled his own desires, her memory becomes a quiet companion, keeping him awake through the long nights. He never quite understood why she was so different from everyone else. She had this calm about her that was unsettling, a softness mixed with sharp discernment, as if she could see right through his defenses before he even spoke a word. In the daylight, she seemed simple, elegant in her gestures, composed in her silence. But beneath that stillness was a depth he couldn't quite name. She was the woman who awakened a part of him he had starved for years, and though he tried to remain unaffected, her presence stirred something ancient within him, something that logic couldn't explain away. You see, she wasn't impressed by the image he projected to the world. She didn't lean into his confidence, nor did she back down when he tested her patience. Her gaze seemed to travel through him, not just at him, touching the shadows he always avoided. She sensed his inner conflicts with an intuition he found baffling. He could feel her noticing the very traits he ran from. The pride, the fear, the inadequacy hidden beneath his practiced charm. She saw the boy he'd left behind, and the man he pretended to be, and the collision of these two truths terrified him. He couldn't figure out why her detachment cut deeper than anyone's affection ever had. It wasn't rejection, it was something far more haunting. She moved with the quiet assurance of someone who didn't need him to feel whole. Her sense of self-worth created a space he couldn't fill with his usual strategies or performance. For the first time, his ego couldn't charm its way into feeling secure. She represented something he couldn't win, couldn't tame, couldn't conquer. And yet, he kept returning to the thought of her, night after night, pulled by a gravity he hadn't chosen. Her silence became a turning point. The moment he realized she wasn't withholding affection, she was protecting her essence. While he was stuck cycling through his avoidant patterns, she stepped back with the grace of a woman who refuses to compete with a madness unresolved ghosts. Her distance wasn't a punishment. It was an invitation for him to face what he had been projecting onto her. All of it, the fantasies, the fears, the longing, the irritation, none of it was about her. It was his own shadow, knocking at the door of his consciousness. In the stillness of midnight, he would replay the subtle moments. The way her voice softened but stayed firm, the way she listened without absorbing his emotional storms. The way she smiled as if she knew exactly what he was trying to hide. He felt completely exposed under her calm gaze, like she had read truths about him he'd never confessed to anyone. That was a second turning point, realizing that her presence wasn't some kind of magic. It was psychological clarity. She saw him, the real him, not the mask he wore, and he felt drawn to her, not because she needed him, but precisely because she didn't. As the days turned into weeks, her absence grew sharper, and something inside him began to crack. His old defenses didn't bring him comfort anymore. The stoic restraint he once saw as a strength now felt like a cage. The detachment he used to feel powerful now just tasted like loneliness. He wondered if she ever thought of him, but deep down, he knew she had already moved on to a bigger world one, where her worth was untied to his emotional availability, and that realization became his third turning point, the moment his projections finally dissolved. She was never meant to be conquered. She was meant to be understood. She wasn't the mystery his own shadow was. The longing that kept him awake at night wasn't just for her, but for the unclaimed parts of himself she had illuminated, simply by being true to who she was. Meanwhile, she moved forward with a quiet empowerment that radiated from within. Her strength wasn't loud, it was rooted. She didn't fight for love, she embodied it. She didn't beg for understanding, she lived Italiano. Her detachment wasn't cold, it was conscious. She walked away, not out of anger or sadness, but because she recognized the difference between holding space for someone and losing herself in the process. And as she stepped fully into her own path, something in him finally broke open. The recognition that the love he feared was the love he needed. The love he sabotaged was the love that revealed his truest self. And still, she left not as an escape, but as an evolution. The night he finally understood her was the night he realized why sleep never came. Easily after she was gone, she was the mirror that didn't lie, the reflection that didn't flatter, the presence that asked for nothing but authenticity. She awakened the man he could be command. Then she let him meet himself in the quiet she left behind. She didn't vanish to hurt him. She vanished because she saw through him. And in that final moment of clarity, as he lay awake with the memory of her pressed against his mind, the truth settled like a whisper he could no longer ignore. The woman who walks away in silence is Zun Duixi, simply sees more. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this.